This is how you avoid the deduction for historic context. So I have two samples here. One is on the Depression, and the other one is on Margaret Sanger. So in the first one, I only have a portion of the thesis. They're looking at music during the Depression. Depression era music focused on people's views of life in poverty and being jobless. So they're trying to argue that music during the Depression focused on poverty, the lives of people. Totally valid. But they go into their second paragraph, the song "Brother Can You Spare a Dime," written by Bing Crosby. So this isn't a bad story. I mean, this is exactly what I want you to do, is to identify in this situation, music and kind of use articles from JSTOR that argue the point about depression era music and how it was about the poverty that people are experiencing. But in this situation, the student just goes right into it. There's no historic context. And what I mean by that is, maybe give me one or two sentences that lead up to the Depression. During the Depression, X amount of people in America were unemployed. The unemployment rate was XYZ. And then, you get into some of the hardships. As a result of unemployment, Americans found it difficult, to satisfy their needs and wants or pay for food. And poverty and unemployment data increased, and then you kind of get into some of the music. So you maybe want to have like two or three sentences addressing that. In this example here, they're talking about Margaret Sanger fighting for women's rights and arguing that it was accessible information on how to prevent pregnancies. So they kind of have two issues going on here. It's about what the woman did, and then this here is about like why. And then notice when they get to their source down here, they've given us historic context that kind of frames the issue historically, talking about Margaret Sanger being born into a large family and how the death of her mother and pregnancies wind up impacting her decision to view abortion and reproduction in a certain way. So they've provided the historic context. Now, if you can imagine, if we cut all of this out and the student just went from here to Caroline Katze, who wrote a journal on Margaret's significance explains, it just wouldn't make sense. So the historic context is precisely that point, and it's going to help with the flow of the essay.